So the two trains of thought with this, because, people, they don't really get into the weeds with it. This is the fight. The fight is this. Kevin McCarthy is a big, giant, slap-happy rhino. He's a paler John Boehner who made Tang Orange popular before Trump. That's one train of thought. The other train of thought is, oh my gosh, does it matter? Like, Kevin McCarthy he's going to be speaker. There's not another contender. And is he as bad as John Boehner? This is what we've got. And you're going to make it to where Nancy Pelosi has to appoint a stand-in. So these are the trains of thought that we got. Now, I understand both sides. Here's where I fall. If you're going to go and disrupt the speaker's race, by God, you better have a contender. You must have a contender. It must be a powerful contender. None of this what we're seeing now. Thus, going back to one of the first sentences I said to you as we started the show, the requisite punado. So this is where we're at. Now, Kevin McCarthy, I think he's short 5 votes. This is weird because I'm waiting for the media narrative. Trump endorsed McCarthy in the beginning of November. He endorsed him specifically for speaker. Marjorie Taylor Greene is on board with McCarthy. Now, some conservatives, not all, but you could say most of them are Trump's base, except for maybe, a few people, oppose McCarthy. I'm surprised the media hasn't run with that narrative talking about coattails or something. Honestly, I am. So Kevin McCarthy, what do you need to know about him? I think it's a legitimate point to make, and a friend of mine made this point. He didn't do enough to stand up against McConnell and the omnibus bill, which we're going to talk about, because that was literally flown on a flight to, well, as opposed to a goose, I guess, on a plane to Joe Biden in St. Croix, Kane. Yeah, we're going with it. It's like, I didn't say LaCroix, like the soda. I didn't say St. Croix. So, doing the French way. But he's being criticized for not doing enough to standing up against McConnell, standing up against Joe Biden and the omnibus. And I get it. I totally get it. He used to be, there was a book that he and Eric Cantor and Paul Ryan authored back in the day. And this was like in the late aughts, called Young Guns. They were called the Republicans' Young Guns. And they were being primed at one point to take over for John Boehner. But what they didn't bank on at the time was the Tea Party. And the Tea Party ascended. We had muscle, took out, ultimately, Eric Cantor and Paul Ryan and John Boehner, leaving Kevin McCarthy. McCarthy was the lesser known of the three. He's all that remains. You could argue he's a moderate on certain things. He's from California. He's a California Republican. He's in a safe district for California. However, one of the things that we've learned from the last election is that people want results. They don't want just talk. People don't care about your red meat platitudes. Voters want to see action. What action does McCarthy have? That's going to speak louder than anything. And so there's that concern. Although I will say, he's been on this program. He's spoken a good game about everything that voters are concerned about. Where it concerns taxes, where it concerns, CRT, where it concerns the gender fight. He's been in all of that. But I'm curious. He apparently has made some compromises. I don't know why Marjorie Taylor Greene is so supportive. But apparently she is. So it's a very odd, you have to forgive me, I'm a little mystified by how odd it all is. It's odd because, you have, again, Trump endorsed, Marjorie Taylor Greene got, Matt Gaetz has been really critical. And I made this point because it was said that, Matt Gaetz told reporters, quote, there's very little difference between Pelosi and McCarthy. Again, well, Trump endorsed McCarthy for speaker back in November, so there's a difference. I think so much of this is performative. I got to be real with you. People in Kentucky, nobody cares anywhere about this rearranging of the deck chairs. People are being taxed beyond their means by Biden's economic proposals and runaway inflation. It's kind of ridiculous to watch this on this day when they're going to be seated. That's it. I said last night that I hope that while Republicans are fighting to control the House and celebrating bad economic policy in Kentucky, more on that with Mitch McConnell, that they remember everyone else struggling to pay their heating bills and everything else that costs 3 times more. I will have you know that the average American doesn't give a rat's ass who controls the calendar. They care how far their paycheck stretches. The Republican Party is going into Helm's Deep, fighting over the size of their swords. And the media is happy to focus on this instead of any kind of solutions. If you're going to fight for the speakership, you better have a replacement. Fighting over who that's going to be, literally right as you're taking over the House, looks balls to the wall, asinine. It's infuriating to watch this. The GOP had a great opportunity to burst into the chamber and get to work, but we have this drama, and it's performative. It's performative. We had Andy Biggs on. Do we have this audio? We had Andy Biggs on the show. This was just a few weeks ago, right before we went on break. And I asked him because his name comes up the most. Like I said, you need a strong contender. I want you to listen to this.
Well, I don't think Kevin does have the necessary votes. Nobody has 218 today.
Yeah.
And so that means that anybody can emerge. I'm still in there, I suppose.
You suppose you're still in there?
Well, I am. I am, Dana. I'm still in there. And it's going to take some work.
He supposes he's still in there. Does that sound like... I like Andy Biggs. I've been on stage with him. I've had discussions with him privately. I like Andy Biggs as a person. That's not a good showing. You basically have to be the human equivalent of a singular fist to go into this, right? So we're going to talk more about this as this unfolds. The drama's kicking off now. Also, George Santos. Oh, boy. Yes, he lied. We know, but it's not a crime in Congress. Otherwise, Joe Biden would be in jail. So we're going to talk.
Subscribe to the First TV today for instant access to exclusive specials and content you actually want to watch. Your support helps the First TV fuel the fight against those seeking to destroy our right to free speech. Simply visit thefirsttv.com/support to join the fight today.